How is it going, guys? Today I'm going to be doing what everybody seems to be doing, and that is making a tier list.
I don't want nothing but payback now.
Half the screen, that half of the screen is going to be taken up. The other half is going to be me, so here we move over right now. There we go. As you guys know, I've owned quite a few cars. Maybe you guys haven't known that. I am basically making this channel now primarily based on vehicles, and I'm going to be talking about my vehicles, and I'm going to be doing mods to them and filming it. I'm going to be putting a lot more work into my Honda and my Z. So starting off with the vehicles, I'm going to start with my Nissan 350Z. It's a 2003, and you guys probably know that car if you follow my TikTok, and I love that car. I got it back when I was 15. It was my dream car. I have put a lot of time and a lot of money into it, and it is still far from being done. I have big plans. I got the spoiler here, which I'll show you, and then I have, here's what it looked like when I first got it, and then here's what it looks like now. There's been a lot of things in between. I'm still waiting to put on my wheels, stuff like that, but when it's done, it's going to be above S tier for me. So for that reason right now, it is at S tier, which is, I know, the highest tier. Moving on to technically, I guess, the first car I ever owned, but I never really drove it. It had a lot of issues. It was my 2003 BMW 530i, which is right here. As you can see, it's a really nice car. It's a four-door, inline six, and it was an all-around good car if it didn't have all of the battery issues, but it did have all the battery issues that early 2000s German engineering has, and it blew a head gasket. It barely drove 2 miles before overheating. It was an automatic. It didn't want to go into first gear. It had every issue you could think of that is a BMW issue. And it was just way too expensive for me to really put the money into it at the time, because I was now 16 at this point, and I already had my 350Z, and I really wanted to learn manual. So I found my friend, and I traded him my BMW 530i for his 1999 VTEC Honda Accord. And here it is. And as you can see right here, it was a 5-speed manual. I bought a carbon fiber shift knob for it. I love that thing. It's the car I learned manual in. All around solid car. The battery drained, but I mean, that was because the light on the inside wasn't shutting off, so really no issues. Just an all around solid car. But it wasn't really amazing at anything, but it wasn't bad at anything either. So for that reason, I'm going to be putting it here at B tier. Next, the next vehicle I got, I ended up wanting a truck because I need a truck to go with my car, because I still have my 350Z, and I'm like, I don't need a second car. I don't need that. I wasn't hauling around friends or anything like that, and even if I was, this next vehicle was a truck. And it was a four-door, so here it is. It was my 1999 F-150. It was the XLT, so it was a long bed with the half back seats. It had a canopy on it with a roof rack on the canopy, stock wheels, stock height, everything like that, nothing modded on it. It had the Triton V8, which I mean is not that bad of an engine. It was rear-wheel drive. It was not four-wheel at all. There was no way to put it into it either. And I mean, it was a fun car. It was a fun truck. And yeah, it was a solid truck until water, when it rained, leaked down through the seal into the fuse box, and it made it so all of the inside electronics shorted out, and it made it so the light flickered on the inside. It caused the battery to drain. It wouldn't alarm me when the lights were left on anymore. The The lights for the dash didn't want to work anymore. The radio went completely out. The seats wouldn't really move. And yeah, basically all of the inside stuff went out on it. So I was like, I might as well sell it. I know that wouldn't have been that hard of a fix or an expensive fix really, but I saw something come up on the market. And I'll get to that in a minute, but I got to rank that truck. The truck, again, solid truck, good truck, and I'm going to put it at B tier. I feel like it was even with the Accord. Yeah, that's fair ranking for it. The next vehicle I found, oh boy, probably the worst purchase I've ever made in my life, but look at it. It was my 1999 F350. It had a 4.5-inch lift on 35s. It had the visor, which looked amazing. The paint color on it, sometimes it looked white, sometimes it looked silver, sometimes it looked gray, depending on the lighting. It was a beautiful truck. And aftermarket wheels. I loved that thing. It had basically all of the exact opposite issues as the F-150. The F-150 was ugly because I just don't like those years of F-150s. And the truck was beautiful, but it had every issue you could imagine. Transmission didn't want to shift. It got locked in the front, or the front drivetrain got locked in, so it was locked in four-wheel. So the whole front end went out on it, basically. The engine was on the verge of going out. The transmission would shift whenever you didn't want it to, and it was an automatic. It had 211,000 miles, which is a lot for those Triton V10s. It was a V10, so it ate gas. It had everything wrong with it mechanically. And then I had someone come out to test drive it when I was selling it, because I got a quote, and it was going to be almost about $8,000 to $10,000 to get it perfect, and I did not have that kind of money. So I sold it only about a month and a half ago, something like that. And when the person came out to test drive it, all the brakes went out and it started ghost braking. So it started braking on its own when you wouldn't even be pushing on the brakes. It had a lot of issues mechanically, and I did not have the money to do it. So I lost quite a bit of money on it, but it is what it is, because I did that. And with the little bit of extra money I had, plus what I sold the truck for, let me rank the truck. So that truck, I'm going to put it right next to the BMW at C tier. It wasn't lower than that. It wasn't a D or F tier. It was just C tier. It was just only because of its looks. If the F-150 would have had those same issues, it would have been like D tier at like the best. But that's how that goes, and that's where I rank it. So I sold that, and I had enough money to go buy a car I've been wanting for a long time. I wanted a four-door. I really was missing my Accord at this point, and I really wanted to go get another Honda because they're easy to work on, and they're reliable, they're easy to mod, cheap to mod. They're the cheapest vehicles you can work on. So I found one up for sale, and it was a 2000 Civic LX sedan. So it's a four-door, so I was able to haul my friends around. I still own the car right now. And everything works on it. Everything, except for the windows. If you roll them all the way down, you got to give them help up. But that's old Honda motors for you. But everything runs strong. It has a D16. And as you can see right here, it's turboed. It has all rebuilt internals as well. And yeah, it's a turbo Civic. It's a vehicle I've been wanting for a long time, and I've been working on it, especially today and yesterday. And I have big plans for it. But I'm not going to spoil that yet because I'm going to make a whole video breaking down everything about it. And yes, it has a short shifter, 5-speed manual, everything that I could want in, a turbo Civic. I love the color on it. The wing isn't overdone, and it's also not a wing, so it's still something. Everything's good on it. It has a nice stereo in it. So for that reason, I don't think it's S tier. And the reason I don't think it's S tier, it's not S tier yet. When I'm done with it, it'll be S tier. because I plan on, nope, I told you I'm not doing the plans. I told you I'm not doing that. Not yet. I'm going to make a whole video on it. But I'm going to rank that, or rank my 2000 Honda Civic LX an A tier. Right, and I'm pretty sure it's the only one right there at A tier. Thanks for watching, guys. If you guys want to watch anything else or have any suggestions for me, and by the way, all of the rankings are based 100% on my own personal experience, not on how I feel about those vehicles in general, but how I feel about the specific one I owned. Because, I mean, let's be real, if I had a 530i that everything ran perfectly on, and it was beautiful, and it was supercharged, and had a nice exhaust, and it was lowered, and everything like that, it would be S tier for sure. But it's C tier because the one I owned was C tier. Yeah, so thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions, make sure to leave them down below. And I'm going to do my best to edit this video so you guys were able to see all of the cars I had when I was talking about them and explaining different things about them. Yeah, make sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more. And make sure to follow all my socials, which will be right here in the outro. 2, 3, and they berserk. I get that check on the first, I get that check on the second, and I get that check on the third.